Greetings, Arizonans. Welcome to the Innovation in Arizona podcast. My name is Chris Elliott, and I will be your host. Innovation in Arizona is a podcast brought to you by the Arizona Humanities. From June 2025 to March 2026, Arizona Humanities will be hosting Spark Places of Innovation, a museum on Main Street exhibition organized by the Smithsonian Institute. Spark will highlight stories of innovation in rural America from the perspective of the people who live it. In Arizona, it will be exhibiting in 6 communities: Camp Verde, Douglas, Ajo, Wilcox, Tubac, and Yuma. To expand and highlight the other amazing stories of innovation in Arizona, this podcast is dedicated to sharing more wonderful stories of innovation right here in Arizona. This project is sponsored in part by the ASU College of Liberal Arts and Sciences Humanities Division and the Community Foundation of Southern Arizona. Today, we have Laurie Altringer. Laurie is a director and educator of the Science Vortex, a nonprofit organization that provides Verde Valley families, schools, and tourists with fun, interactive exhibits and programs that get children excited about science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics, otherwise known as STEAM. Laurie's Science Vortex has partnered with the Camp Verde Community Library to display a companion exhibit to Spark Places of Innovation that is being showcased in Camp Verde from June 14th to July 26th, 2025. Mm-hmm. Visit the Camp Verde Community Library's website for more information about their Spark exhibition. And thank you for being here, Laurie.
Thank you for coming up here today, Chris.
So can you tell me a bit about the Science Vortex and how it came to be?
Yeah, so my family moved here 8 years ago to the Verde Valley. And when we first moved, I very frequently heard that there weren't opportunities for kids in this area. And while I strongly disagree with that statement now, at the time, there really weren't as many opportunities. And I was working in schools, and I noticed that the level of education coming from, most recently, Oregon, was a lower level just in the state of Arizona when ranked nationally. And then the Verde Valley, being a rural area, has even lower than the state average.
Right.
So I saw that this area needed some resources put into education. And I went to graduate school and studied nonprofit administration and environmental education. And I had 18 years of teaching under my belt. And I knew I wanted to open some sort of nonprofit education center. And it just felt like the right time. My kids were young, and they both were really into tinkering. Like the kitchen junk drawer was just always constantly open with tape just strewn about, with my son always in there building. And so I saw the value in it, and I knew the value in being a school teacher, but within the constraints of a school classroom. I did the best I could do, but I felt like there could be more out of school opportunities for kids to be learning important skills, like 21st century skills,
right,
like creativity, critical thinking. I'm mostly a math teacher. In fact, I part-time teach Algebra 1 now. And I have seen over my teaching career, critical thinking skills decreasing, whereas they need to be going the opposite direction. They need to be improving. And so I kind of took those feelings of being an 8th grade math teacher and applied them to creating a center that will have 8th graders who don't give up, who persevere, and really think deeply. So that's my number one goal with this place.
Awesome. And how long has the center been here?
This is our 6th summer of programming. Yep. So we started in we opened in 2020, hands-on science center. So it was a very interesting time to open something like that. So we pivoted like most organizations, and we started with virtual programming, and then it's just grown every year after that.
Wow, that's really cool. And so why STEAM, and what is STEAM?
Yes, so STEAM, again, is science, technology, engineering, art, and math. And what's great about STEAM is it's thematic teaching. So it's applying creativity, critical thinking, communication, collaboration, information technology, and also just proficiency, science proficiency in general. And it's using topics like thematic teaching. And so it doesn't put just that one state standard in a box. And you see the whole picture for the kids. And so I really love STEAM education because it makes it fun and memorable and gives kids an experience with the content that they can stick Velcro to later.
Right.
And so it makes their classroom learning more applicable. So, for example, today, kids in early elementary were here in the summer camp program, and today's theme was insects. And so the first thing that we did with these about 7-year-olds was sing a song. And so we sang head, thorax, abdomen, head, thorax, abdomen, etc. So we took that song, and then they did a mix and match puzzle. So again, different part of the brain, different skills. And then they needed to use the engineering and design process after they learned that an insect has 3 parts of the body, antenna, eyes, and they had to build an insect. It didn't have to be anything realistic, but it had to meet the criteria of what is classified as an insect. And it was so cool seeing what the kids came up with, because they went through their plan, then they chose their 3D materials, built it, tested it, improved it. And so it's just such a rich way to learn. And then afterwards, they presented to each other their insects. And then tomorrow we're going to the river, and they're going to be collecting macroinvertebrates. And that they're going to learn that they are water quality indicators, and then come back with the data and be able to say whether the Verde River is high water quality or low water quality. And luckily it's high. And we know that because those insects are able to live.
Got you. Yeah, I know that a lot of kids are different learners, especially in school. And, sometimes the standardized way of teaching doesn't work for everybody. I know it didn't work for me because I'm an arts-based guy. So, I always struggled in classrooms. So, having this opportunity for kids to be able to interact and do physical things, or do songs and stuff, is a really great way to learn, and it really, it's a equitable, it's a very widespread for, kids to be able to learn these types of things.
They don't need to be seated at a chair. Half the time we're on the floor in here, half the time it's a mess in here, and so some of those things that I don't blame classroom teachers. I've been there myself. You have 25, 30 kids. You can't have total chaos. But here we know I'll have teachers come in on field trips here, and they'll kind of be nagging the students, you need to be picking up the makerspace. I'm like, no. Here, we'll pick it up at the very end. It's a free for all now, and so kids really know that they can come into this space and kind of purge their ideas, create, and then clean.
That's amazing. I wish I had that when I was growing up, to be honest.
I do too, actually. I'm grateful that my own children have had it.
Right. And do your kids get to participate in this? Or
Yes, absolutely. They helped me paint the walls black, and and some of the murals.
Putting them to work.
And absolutely. One of my kids is now on payroll, and
really?
Both of the kids are chief science officers, which is a program we run out of here where kids in grades 6 through 12 are STEM ambassadors for their community. It's a program that's spearheaded out of SciTech Institute in Phoenix, but it's grown to be international. And in fact, this summer, my 2 kids, who are each CSOs, and I are going to Poland to form a partnership and try to spread CSO out there. And it's through Sister Cities for Sedona, which is part of the Verde Valley. And so we're hoping that our chief science officers here have an international exchange with Polish CSOs. So it's just the things that happen out of this vortex. We just never know what's coming our way. It's kind of exciting.
And it's just specifically that term, the vortex, it's it draws in things.
It's overused in the Verde Valley and Sedona for sure, but it's a scientific term. So, the idea of drawing people in, we want to draw them in. The worst statement that someone can tell me as a student is, I hate math. I'm like, well, why do you hate math?
That was me.
It was probably the teaching. It was probably the experiences, right?
Yeah, it was.
Because math is so fun. It's all puzzles and So we try to make it fun here and apply it. So then again, kids realize when they're learning something in class, oh, I'm learning measurement because remember this one time I went to the river and we measured the width. Oh, those were the units we used. I remember she said those were metric. It's just makes it more applicable to real
makes it make more
world.
sense. Applicable to real world. Cool. So as you know, Spark is an exhibition that highlights innovation in rural America. How does the Science Vortex define and create spaces for innovation?
Well, we try to inspire children to be innovative. So we have a makerspace here. A makerspace is a spot with readily available materials. So a lot of them are just simple recyclable materials, toilet paper rolls, wood pieces, hot glue guns. And it's a place to create and collaborate and learn and then share your product with somebody. So oftentimes families will come in and they'll walk out with a product. So it could be a homemade DIY harmonica or kazoo that you make out of popsicle sticks and straws. It could be a robot that they created out of recyclable materials. It could be something more high tech, like a light up greeting card where they create a circuit with paper and conductive tape and an LED light. And so we have a family makerspace night every Thursday that encourages families to come in. It's from 4:30 to 6 every Thursday, and we have a project that they can complete or they can just go in and build. And so we've had kids make full houses, like playhouses, that they make me promise that I will never get rid of at the Science Vortex, which of course we don't have anymore. But things that they get really attached to, like we get a lot of RV families coming through the Verde Valley, and we had one girl build palm trees out of all recyclable materials. And just think about the creativity that goes into creating that. And also perseverance, because it took her a couple Makerspace Thursdays in a row to make it. And then they were living in an RV, a family of 5, and she wanted to store the palm trees inside the RV. And her mom made her the deal. She can keep them outside while they're here at this spot. So our Makerspace spot is a pretty special place that kids get really into. But really all of our programs are about innovation. Again, it's those 21st century skills and applying those. So we have field trips here. We have outreach to public libraries in our area, to different events, public events that take place throughout the Verde Valley. We do some school outreach. And last year we had 92 school groups visit the Science Vortex for a field trip. And typically what a visit looks like is about an hour of a hands-on activity that's tied to some learning objective, and then an hour of free time. So that would be involved going into the makerspace. And it's entertaining to see what the kids come up with when they're in the makerspace, and kind of how it spreads like rapid fire. Like a couple of years ago, we had one class come in and make Forkies, the cartoon character. I actually don't even know what Forky's from, but
I don't know Forky.
It's a character.
Okay.
And so before the class left, we were out of all of our forks because the kids all had created these Forkies, and then they told their friends. So then at that field trip, they said, we want to build a Forky. And so it makes it fun, and it's a destination that kids want to come to. And again, they either don't have the materials, don't have the time, or maybe the space to be able to do that elsewhere.
Yeah, and going back to what you said earlier, it sounds like the Science Vortex itself is like an example of innovation, because the way that we've been defining innovation, well, it's not really a definable thing, but it's the creation of something in where there's a need, so like a farmer making a new sort of product so that he can help or they can help with their tasks on agriculture and things like that.
Yeah.
Where you saw a deficit in this creativity and in this type of learning experience for the kids in this area, the Science Vortex seemed to be a creation out of that need,
Yeah, and just the kind of essence of a nonprofit. we don't always know what's coming up the next year for funding
Yeah.
and interest from different people. So it's a bit of a roller coaster running a nonprofit always, right? And especially in these times. And it's been fun to take advantage of the opportunities that come our way and be innovative with them. So something that we have here that I never envisioned when I was picturing and designing the center was having car parts. But the Rosenbluth Family Foundation through Arizona Community Foundation came up. They loved the center, and we love them because they have helped us out a lot. And Jerry Rosenbluth was someone who would create models for court cases, and he would talk about the auto industry in court hearings. And so we now have some of his models, and the kids pretend it's a spaceship going through the windows. And we have a car transmission here, and things that, how often do you get to see a car transmission and actually shift the gears? And
yeah. So, and isn't that one?
This is the car transmission.
Yeah.
Yep. And this is the spaceship right over here. Wow. And I say spaceship, it's actually the emergency windows and doors from a sleeper portion of a semi truck.
Huh.
Yep. And we had seat belts, and the kids could put those on, and that's simple machines and just the mechanics.
Oh, okay. So getting into like learning how machines work and things like that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So can you tell me a bit about your companion exhibit that you're doing in collaboration with the Camp Verde Community Library?
Yeah. So first, we're really honored to be showcased out there. And it was really fun putting together pictures from the last 6 years. So we have an exhibit out there where we'll have hands-on materials, building, tinkering materials. And also we'll bring out our car transmission and some of the more kind of high interest stations, like our hand pedals that light up the light bulbs without being plugged in, and some other different stations. So yeah, it's exciting for Science Vortex to be highlighted east of the I-17 because Camp Verde, Rimrock, Lake Montezuma, they're all part of the Verde Valley, and it is a bit of a distance between here and there, but we do outreach there. We do programs at the Camp Verde Library, and so we want more people in that area to know about Science Vortex and know that we have this resource here. And not only do we have the resource here, but we're now a part of a nationwide and even international network of science centers. It's called it's called You're going to have to edit this part. That's fine. ASTA, Association of Science and Technologies.
Got it.
Centers. And so if people become a member here, a family membership is $85 for the year. They can go to hundreds of other centers around the nation for free.
Like the Arizona Science Center.
Including Arizona Science Center.
But over across the nation, too.
Yeah, Lowell Observatory, Explora in Albuquerque, the Cube in LA.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what are you most excited or most looking forward to about this? Actually, I'm going to edit that because you already answered that question.
You're good.
Also, another thing about your exhibition being showcased at the Camp Verde Community Library is it's great outreach. People get to learn about, like you said, about the Science Vortex. And hopefully they can bring their kids over there. And so, some of the exhibition stuff, is it interactive too, or is it just more of a display of your work throughout the past? 6 years?
So we have pictures of work and kids that have come here before can look for themselves in the pictures, but there will be hands-on activities for kids and adults with their kids to tinker with.
Yeah. And it'll be really cool to be a part of the Smithsonian too, because we're having this whole Smithsonian institution bring this exhibition here, and hopefully people from all over Arizona will come and see this too. So I think it'll be another great opportunity.
We're going to even have some technology there, like robots that people can program and send it through a maze, and some things that are pretty exciting.
I'll have to check that out. So what goes into the process of creating one of the Science Vortex stations or exhibits?
So when I envisioned opening a center here, just like any scientist, we had constraints, and one was finances and space, and just we're in a rural area.
Mhm.
So what makes sense for this community? And so I joined the ASTC, and I traveled to centers in Oregon, California, some in Colorado, some in throughout Arizona, and in New Mexico, and just wrote down ideas, created a master document that had lots of pictures. And again, we want things to be as thematic as we can be, but interdisciplinary.
Mm-hmm.
So include science, include technology, include engineering, include art, include math. And we also don't want kids to age out of them. So a question I got in the very beginning was, well, okay, so that somebody goes to your center once, they already saw it. Are they really going to want to go back? And it's like, no, they maybe got introduced to it that one time, but I want them to sit at the computer with our Edison robot and realize that they can first program it to just follow a line. Second, they can add music to that line. Third, they could create a maze. Fourth, they could create a roller coaster. Like, kids can age up within the materials here. That's the goal.
So there's like an evolution process to this. Like, it's not just like, it's the whole point is to make them learn and make them I guess like find new things about like the one thing that they previously knew about and expand upon that.
Yeah, sort of and like they have their confidence grow, so their skill set grows, their confidence grows, their interest grows. Like, ideally, we would have someone start and attend our Little Learners as a preschooler, and we're starting to see this now that we've been around for a few years. Start the Little Learners, be preschoolers, then become campers, and they are at the age now where they can go to summer camp. Then they're the age where they can become chief science officers and start serving their community. And then through chief science officers, they pursue a STEM career, and we hear about them as alumni. Like, I look forward to that because we definitely have employees now, teenage employees and chief science officers that have STEM dreams.
Right.
So,
oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So what has been one of your favorite creations that you've seen been made so far?
The loaded question.
I know it is.
Probably a summer camp activity that took about a week. We were inspired by a short documentary called Keen's Arcade, and it was out of LA. Somebody's owned a tire shop, I believe, a tire repair shop, and maybe their grandchild or their child just went there after school, and pretty much was like this for a while. And then they had a stack of boxes, and the kids started making arcade games, and it got so into it that he created a whole room of arcade games, started charging the neighbors, and it became a spot. And then a filmmaker saw this, and then it became a huge thing and went out on social media, and he got tons of money and coverage and, all the things that a 10-year-old boy wants, right? And so we did that here in the Science Vortex. The kids built an arcade, and we invited other classes, parents. It was really fun to see what they came up with, and just think about all of the problem solving and just that engineering and design process that really went into play with that. And again, so much of just the emotions, the how proud they were when their game was done, and to show it off. And a lot of them made handmade prizes to pass out. Some included electronics. It was very cool. It was one of those very heartwarming educational experiences.
So does that exhibition still exist here, or?
No, it was just like everything here. It just keeps cycling. Keeps cycling. But it was here for a few weeks, and we got kids on campus, kids with different disabilities here on campus came through. And so just the again, 21st century skills, part of it is communication and working with kids different than yourselves, and working with people of different ages. And just, so I was very proud of it.
Yeah. That's awesome. So over the years, and I know you kind of touched on this before, but what kind of impact have you seen happen to the kids who participate in here?
Yeah, I think what I get most excited about is kids repeating some of the mottos that we say here. So one thing we say is FAIL stands for first attempt in learning, FAIL. And so it's normal to fail. And we don't really, in my opinion, provide enough opportunities for kids to fail and to pick themselves back up, change their design a little bit, try again. And so again, perseverance is a big thing in here. Another is we say that kids aren't allowed to say the I can't. And so if they're going to say I can't, they at least have to say it with a growth mindset. I can't do it yet. So they have to add the yet. And it's fun having kids summer after summer for summer camp. And I keep talking about summer camp because we're in the throes of it right now. But it's fun to hear the older kids tell the younger kids, did you say I can't? And I'm like, yes, so it's sticking. And if they can tell themselves that when they're in the science lab in high school or sitting down to a standardized math test, that would make me very proud. And I really see a change in the kids who have come here year after year after year.
Yeah. And I know you can see that. I can relate to that experience because being in the arts, being a performer, musical theater, I'm on stage and you fail.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time, or you don't get an audition, you don't get into the show, or like you mess up on stage. And so I'm grateful for those experiences because that made me like learn that like it's okay to fail because that's how you grow, you know? And so I'm glad that you're able to create a space for that for the students because that is such an important skill and it's better that they're learning that earlier than later on in life, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And another thing that we do in here that is different than I see in a lot of classrooms is the kids prep the materials. Like I don't want to sit down and have a ready-made kit of the little bunny with the bunny belly to stick on and then the, the cottontail to stick on. I want them to be creating it. And so it might not look like a finished product, like an adult made at the end, but it was kid created.
Yeah.
And so, those we really value giving kids those opportunities and have the time and space to be able to do that. Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to share with us about the Science Vortex?
When it comes to having a successful, innovative project in a rural community, or really any community, but I think especially in our area, it really has been a community project. And so I want to just stress that the partnerships are really important to us. And we wouldn't be here without Arizona Community Foundation. We wouldn't be here without Rosenbluth Family Foundation. We wouldn't be here without Cottonwood Oak Creek School District. And we partner with all the local school districts, and it's been incredible. And again, it kind of ebbs and flows. Like we'll be really heavy in one district one year because they have the money for it. And then the next year we'll be in a different district. And so it's fun to see the opportunities that arise. We partner with Friends of the Verde River every year with their BioBlitz. It's a community-wide community science project. And kids go out and actually people of all ages go out and take pictures of living organisms. And then it gives a snapshot of all the living species in the Verde Valley. And it's just a 2-week window. And we've had funding to do it throughout the Verde Valley for the last 5 years. This was our 5th year.
I know so many people who would love something like that.
Yeah. So community partnerships, I think it should be a highlight and is a highlight of the exhibit that we have up at Camp Verde.
And that's another example of a partnership too.
Yeah.
And with us too.
Yep.
So
yes. And we're grateful for it. So thank you, everyone.
And thank you. And thank you again for giving us your time today, Laurie. I appreciate it. Arizona, make sure you check out Camp Verde's Spark Places of Innovation exhibition that will be happening again from June 14th to July 26th. But this is only the first stop of 6. Spark will be touring in 5 other communities up until March 28th, 2026. Please visit ArizonaHumanities.org to find out more information about the exhibition. And if you live in the Verde Valley, please learn more about the Science Vortex at sciencevortex.org.
Yes. Thank you so much for coming today.
Of course. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Was that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Woo.
Yay. I don't know.
No, that's going to be great.